Mike, welcome to the Learning and Development Podcast.
Thanks, David, and thanks for having me on the show. It's a real pleasure to be on. I'm a big fan of your show, and I've taken a lot from your podcast that you've been delivering lately, and actually it's helped inform a lot of my own practice and some of the things that I've been writing about. So thanks very much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mike. Friends, comrades, brothers and sisters, there's a movement that's happening in L&D, and it feels to me like revolution is in the air. This is the opening of a recent article you published on LinkedIn called The L&D Revolution. What's this revolution, Mike?
Okay. Now, thanks for asking me that. And revolution, I mean, what is revolution? So revolution's about change, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, in terms of a revolution, I think what I'm trying to say is, yes, we need to change, but we also, as a profession, as an L&D profession, I think we need to come together and unite behind this common purpose. So for me, at the moment, it doesn't really feel like we've got that. And I think that requires a shift in all our thinking from beyond where we're at the moment. So being order takers of learning to becoming true business partners in a strategic context and setting. And I think if we don't take that on board, I mean, let's not kid ourselves, we do risk becoming obsolete. And I think we also need to reframe how we actually speak to and talk to the business and what language we actually use. So we need to move away from talking in L&D speak and actually start talking the language of the business. And for me, these are some of the changes that we need to start making in order to kind of see that revolution take place.
And to give some context, Mike, you're head of learning and development and well-being at the IICSA, which is the Independent Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse. So right. You're in-house and you're clearly wanting to make a difference. Yeah. So has this desire to revolutionise L&D always been present in you?
Yeah, I think so. I think firstly, just to clarify, I'm not going to be around at the inquiry for too much longer because that period of time's coming to an end now. So I'm looking for other opportunities now. But within the 18 months in the inquiry, because the inquiry was set up almost in a sort of startup fashion, it's also given me a lot of autonomy to be quite experimental and to try things out. So I guess in terms of that opportunity, that's been quite unique, and it's given me chances to do things that I might not necessarily have been able to do in other organizations. But yeah, I mean, I'm at the business end of L&D for sure. So, absolutely, I want to make a difference in there. Do I make a difference? I'm trying to do so. But I think it does take time to change people's and organizational mindsets, not to mention within our own profession. I think to actually be able to demonstrate the differences that you're making. So for me, I think differently by design, as well. Cause I know we've spoken before about this, David, but I'm dyslexic. I'm what's classed as neurodiverse. I've got various different neurodiverse conditions. So I do think about things differently anyway. So actually seeing some of these things coming out and some of these changes that are happening almost feels quite natural to me as well. But I do recognize that doesn't always feel natural to other people, but it's helped me want to drive innovation and to change, and to think about how I practice myself and spark something in others as well, which led me to sort of start writing my posts. My background, just to be clear, is not just working in learning and development. As you said rightly, I also work in well-being as well. So my main staple bread and butter is learning and development, and that's kind of where I am as a professional. But I also work and practice in well-being as well. I've had a very diverse career working across in government, across some of the big government departments, not just in HR. So it gives me a different perspective as well. And I don't feel any emotional attachment to any of these things that have happened or been done in L&D in the past. I'll just be clear about that. But I have seen learning and development both from inside and outside house as well. And I've actually seen how, we have adopted this classroom-based slideshow loving sage on the stage mentality over the years. And, we need to eliminate this perception of this is what L&D is about. It's not. We know that. But the only way that we can actually demonstrate that and prove our worth to the business is actually by demonstrating what value we actually bring. So that's kind of for me, that that's where that desire comes from in terms of wanting to revolutionise L&D.
And you've made me think there that our perception, or sorry, our role as perceived by our clients, the end users, can often be determined or described as the activity and not the outcome. So as an employee, considering that learning and development, that's about training or that's about e-learning, it's their association can be, and in my experience, is generally shaped by the activity, not necessarily because, that's the function that has really helped me in the past to achieve more or achieve what I needed to, or get used to this new organisation or role. It's much more about the outcomes and the activities and the products.
And it feels like school.
Yeah.
And for me, putting my outside of L&D hat on, learning and development for me has always felt like going back to school. It's kind of felt like school days where someone's trying to teach me almost something that I might not necessarily want to learn, or that's going to have any relevance to me in terms of my job and how that's going to help improve my job.
And of course, then it's associated with the medium and also an amount of time that you kind of expect to be out of the office for half a day or a day, maybe 2 days or 3.
You hear it. That's just what you hear all the time, is I don't have time for this. And I get that. I'll be honest with you, that's a shared frustration. I absolutely get. I used to kind of think, well, you don't have time for learning and development. How ridiculous is that? But actually when you rewind and you reset your own thinking on that, and you think, well, they've actually got a really good point, because it's the way that learning and development is framed. And actually, we need you to come away to learn something. But, well, okay, so, I'm really busy. I've got X amount of deadlines to me, X amount of papers to write, and all the rest of it, clients to serve. What is the benefit of me actually coming away to actually spend some time with you, away from my work, a day away from my desk, other than like a day out, which I can't really afford. I just don't have time for this. I get that now. I really do. I get that now. I kind of get why people say that. It makes a lot of sense.
And to probe just a little bit further there, I think we all have those moments or those times, or perhaps more accurately, there are a series of tipping points that lead us to think this way. I always say that I had the traditional path into and through learning and development via delivering classroom training, design my own programs. You see the response, so you know that it's good, and so you build up curriculum.
Makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the first 10 years was refining and honing my ability to deliver and facilitate to get more of that good response. And of course, it wasn't all selfish, although it does feel great. It was, you're looking and thinking, I must be doing a good job.
We think we're making a difference, don't we? That's the thing. I think we've thought that we're making a difference. And I don't think that it's necessarily something that we've done wrong. I just think now the data tells us, the evidence is there to actually show that actually you're not, let's not kid ourselves. And the tipping point for me, I think what you're saying is, what was your epiphany moment? For me, my epiphany was just actually realizing when that penny drops that actually, what I think Kevin touched on it as well, is I'm not really making a difference, to be honest. It's kind of, I get great response from people, and I get bums on seats. From that response, I am making a difference, but actually, is it making any difference to the bigger picture stuff, to performance drivers, to business outputs or outcomes? Then no, let's not kid ourselves. It hasn't. So it's kind of then, well, what do I need to do to actually start making that difference?
And you're referring there to Kevin M. Yates on a previous episode, and Adam Harwood said the same as well. One moment you're at the front of the room delivering, and then you just have this moment of anxiety of, wait a minute, like, is this really making any difference? And as soon as that epiphany happens, it's almost as if, the lights turned on, and you can't ignore things anymore. You can't just blindly deliver.
No.
And it's not just about sharpening your toolbox to become a better deliverer.
Yeah.
You're challenging the very medium that you believed in all of this time. And you're looking at those faces back at you thinking, you like this now, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is really